Hey you guys, welcome back to Let's Play NieR. And before we actually start this video, I wanted to give myself more of a moment to actually talk before we actually start to get into it. Because this episode is going to have a lot of reading. As you can see, it's probably just over 20 minutes long, or maybe even more, depending on how long I talk here, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I won't be, making any real commentary myself, pretty much, because it's really lengthy. There's a really lengthy section here with a lot of reading, so I guess I just wanted to warn you guys, because that's all I'm gonna be doing here. And if you find my reading annoying, I guess you can just kind of mute it if you want to and just read it yourself. So, yeah. Without further ado, let's actually start this video. So here we go. And well, before we actually read anything, let's collect this. Okay, let's talk to this guy since you have a bubble over your head. Beware. Okay. Beware the words. The words? What do you mean? Contagious words. Those who dream. Those who dream? Hold on a moment. There's a strange new sensation in my mind. Weiss's voice froze in a quizzical way. It is not quizzical. What's going on here? The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes. You know, I might not actually read here. Not in this specific part anyway. I don't know, the text is kind of blurry. I don't know, I wish I could record this in higher quality, but, in a few moments here, the text won't be so blurry. It's gonna get larger. But basically, the gist of things here is that this villager, he's trying to explain stuff to you, and now it's more like written like a book. Pretty much. Written like a story. And, he's explaining to us that now we're in his dream, or in the death dream mentioned in the letter. Weiss stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly. Now see here, he said. Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream? Well, yeah, said the mayor. I think you have. Oh crap, said Travis. So that means we've caught the death dream? Before the mayor could confirm Travis' suspicion, Weiss exploded with rage. Ridiculous, preposterous, completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep. The mayor attempted to take Weiss's complaints in stride. That's just how the death dream works, he said, brushing aside the book's remarks. My remarks shall not be brushed aside, fool. It would behoove you to remember that this world allows me to view all of its narrations. The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who Travis had seen, and what they had discussed since coming to the village. Something there must have caused you to enter my dream, said the mayor. A certain conversation, a specific word, something. Travis and Weiss racked their brains, but could find no easy solution. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations. Grimoire Weiss does not engage in meaningless conversation. The mere suggestion that Weiss chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride. It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator. It has demolished it utterly. Irritated, Weiss looked skyward as if searching for answers in the heavens. I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already. Jesus. The anger caused by his harsh words bled over to Travis like a contagion. Wait, said Travis suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Weiss aside in the process. Well, he must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combinations of words. What is it? It was about dreaming, or something that dreams, or... Oh, what the hell was it? A sheep? cried Weiss suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Travis's face suddenly lit up. "I remember," he said. "Those who dream." That's what he said. I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Travis. "That sounds right," he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. "My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you... blah blah blah. Jesus Christ, I'm messing up already." The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. "For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream," he said. "I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along. But I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams." The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. "I should probably be taking notes or something." Weiss immediately fired back. "I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams," he said. "But perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it." The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping it off at the tip. "I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it." He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. "My village was beautiful," he said to no one in particular, "and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. But once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free." The mayor's voice took on a note of steely determination. "And I won't stop trying until it happens." Travis nodded in agreement. "Huh? Wait a second, I didn't nod. Why are you..." "Look, if we can be of any help," said Travis, "just ask." "Now hold on, I did not just say that." "Silence," cried Weiss. The grimoire looked from Travis to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Weiss's face is always confident, thank you very much. "Now see here, Mayor, you told us that nothing can exist in this dream without your knowing of it, but yet you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes?" The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. "Oh my God," he said, you're right. I had no idea you were coming." "The human imagination is a limitless engine," said Weiss, "and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out." "Thank you," said the mayor. "I don't know how I can repay you." "Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place." The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. "Good luck, you two," he called at the departing forms of Travis and Weiss, and said something else. As Travis slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of deja vu. "I saw this man once before," he thought, "but where? That's weird." Travis's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around them. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Weiss was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of the time urging Travis to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Weiss muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Travis snapped. "You know what, Weiss?" he cried. "Go to hell. We're stopping. I need to rest for a few minutes before I throw up." Travis leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. "How can this stupid forest be so goddamn big?" he muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. As if infuriated by his lack of respect, every imaginable form of buzz, click, and blit and hiss roared out of the volume. Oh jeez. Travis slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. Weiss, what the hell's going on? Travis could see Weiss's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting at a tornado. Wait, doesn't Weiss not have a mouth? Wasn't that mentioned back in the desert? The insects screamed, the forest howled. And then, just as Travis's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, Travis removed his hands from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the forest. Now, I'm not going to even attempt to imitate these sounds. As the insect symphony dimmed in another decibel, Travis began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise. It's something else. The insects weren't just calling out. They were asking a question. 1 with it suffers. 2 with it is the ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? Maybe. I guess so. This kind of thing happens a lot in dreams, right? Maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. Well, thanks, Weiss. 1 with it suffers, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? The answer is obviously a woman. Or how the hell should I know? No, it's neither of those. I don't know, this is the only answer, really. Inwardly furious that Weiss left the task to him, Travis sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret, right? The sound of the insects stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Travis like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest anthropods are making a road for us, said Weiss with glee. Pleased at the passing test, Travis moved. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on the path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said Travis after a bit. Weiss spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of the forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Weiss finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Travis picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Weiss. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Absurdly easy, barked Weiss. Now answer it. Travis gritted his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right, after all. This one's pretty easy. So what is it? It's probably a bird or a letter. Either one of those, I guess. Oh, no, wait, it's sunlight. Sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Weiss softly, I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey, look, cried Travis, awaking Weiss from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Weiss saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Weiss? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Travis walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Travis before he could get any further. The cloaked man held up a hand and asked a question. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but I end the night with 3. What am I? Travis tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage a man in conversation, said Weiss, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Travis. Well, at least it's an easy one. And yeah, it is. I think this is a common one, only worded differently, and neither of these other 2 answers are really all that true, so we're gonna say amen. Amen. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Travis. The small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor you know. Well, now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. You saw... Wait, you say what? I'm sorry, I don't understand a thing you just said. It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the Death Dream. Now you must go to the man at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Travis watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Travis and Weiss returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it. You actually made it back. His left hand grasped Travis's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Weiss by the cover and swung him through the air. Gah, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool. We have not even told you if we were successful or not. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Travis withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the Death Dream seal, he said. At least I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as Travis filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the three of them laid down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Wait a second. That's crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? This is one hell of a story. Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Travis and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten, continued Weiss, it is words that control the Death Dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had woken, I guess. Travis shook the mayor's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. We made it. Oh, wow, said the mayor in an odd voice. We did it. I'm back. He blinked once, twice, as though not quite believing the sight before him. The Death Dream had started to spread through our village, and I wanted to, well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease. And the mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked. They glanced at Travis and shrugged. Without a word, the fighter reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life may take some getting used to. You shall relearn in short order, I am sure, said Weiss. For now, you should return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the Death Dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree. It's a guardian of our village's history and memories. Superstitions will only make our mission harder, muttered Weiss. We should not put our faith in some tree. Mayor shook his head. Not the gods, the words. Legends say that our tree is home of a powerful magic known as the Sealed Verse. And, man, my voice is dying. I say, muttered Weiss, this is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, Travis mentioned the strange man who had given them the riddle and the mysterious words he had left them. I once saw a version of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. What in the world? Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, this is going to sound weird, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before, too. Travis tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's just some kind of illusion, and I really did not give myself enough time to read most of this. I should have done live commentary for this video. But I suppose you guys can like pause and read it if you want to. And now the text is small again, so yeah, man. Phew, I don't know if I'll have any more voice left to do any more of these videos today or not. But we got a sealed verse for all that, and we didn't even have to go through dungeons or fight enemies or bosses or any of that. We just had to read a lot and solve 3 incredibly easy riddles. So yeah, that was basically the Forest of Myth right there, and next time I guess I'll drink more water to get a better voice so I can read some more. So I'll see you guys next time.